Alright, we're going to be cutting some speaker hose, some MDF rings for my diamond 6.5s. We're going to put 2 in each door and an 8-inch in the door. And the 8-inch are Rockford Fosgate MB 282s, the ones that I've already got in there now. I've got some door panels that I bought off eBay. We're going to be making some custom pods. Bought some extra ones so I can have them off for a while and take the time to do it right, and that way my truck ain't tore up. If I mess them up, ain't no thing. Alright, so I pulled the grill out of the insert, or out of the speaker grill. I'm going to be doing a recess cut on these, so they set recessed in, and I'll be doing it on my newly built router table. It still has the clamps gluing the hardboard down, but we can use this end. Bought a little table saw. Performs well for what I do, but it just wasn't cutting the length that I needed, so I had to upgrade it, and really like the smooth surface top. And as you can see, I've already started cutting some holes for putting the pegs in and making the circles. You can cut holes in here wherever you want. My first design on a circle jig was a typical round circle jig, and I decided to build another one so that instead of having to buy another router, I could just take and pull this in and out and use my router like this without having to remount anything. So now it's a regular router, or it can be a flush mount, table mount. That quick. It doesn't move. It's in there very, very tight. Made it very flush. It's perfect. This is from the same acrylic that I used to make this. Was from an old neon sign, and I just cut it on the table saw, and I didn't cut the circle out too evenly. I was a little off center on it, but it's alright. It works. Got a vacuum hole on the side, and when you cut, it's very quiet because it's very solid, and it actually has very little dust. You'll see in a second. Alright, so back to the speakers. Got them lined out. Let me cut these up, shorten this board up, and I'll need to find the center of each hole, drill a pilot hole for my pin to spin in, and then we'll start figuring out the exact depth and exactly what I want to do. Alright, so we've cut it out. A little light sanding right here. A little sanding. I've already pre-drilled the hose on this one. And very nice fit. It's going to fit really nice. So what's going on over here is you've got, wipe this off. You got your hole drilled in the middle. I've got the blade set just above halfway mark. So first cut, we're cutting out the inside of the inset. So make 2 passes, one on the outside, one on the inside to give it the width. That's your first cut right here. So imagine that's one piece right there. So that's your first 2 cuts. Then you cut the outside, and you're only cutting halfway. You only have to change the depth 1 time. So you cut this right here, and then you flip it over in the same hole, and you cut it again, and then it's trimming it out completely. So then you've got one completely solid piece, and you're at this stage. So these are the first 2 cuts there, and then you slide it over, and then you do it again, and then you flip it over, or you cut this, and you're only cutting a half depth, and then when you flip it over, it cuts the other half, and it'll give you a little line there, but that stands up real easy. So it's a lot easier than changing your blade depth every time and cutting the full length and then cutting this inset. So I can sit here and do all the rings that I want to. And then after I cut that one, and you go and you cut this side inside of this one, and that gives you that cut right there, and it trims out the ring, cuts it out for you. You don't have to use a jigsaw to finish it out, or any special trick to. I used to nail them down and then use a jig, but this is a lot easier. So you just have to figure out the 2. Let's put this on the blade right here. So it'd be halfway, half the distance of this. So your first hole is going to be cut to this edge. First hole is cut to that edge, which is this one. And then you're cutting this to the inside of this one. That's the second cut. So you just measure here, and you come over here, spin the blade, find the hole that you need, and then so it's 1 cut, 2 cut, 1 cut, 2 cut, or I'm sorry, 1 cut, 2 cuts here, 1 cut here, flip it over, cut it here, it completely trims it out, flip it, cut it from the bottom, and then cut your ring out. So it's a 5 cut process. Very simple, very easy to do. It just takes a little time and setting up exactly the holes. Hope I didn't confuse y'all too much. And there's the finished still. A little sneak peek of what's coming up next. Cutting into the door panel. This is going to be an 8-inch right here. This is actually not the right ring, but just to give an example, what do we kind of look like? Maybe something like that. I don't know. Could be something like that. I'm kind of digging that. Couple of tweeters firing out right there.